Hello everybody, welcome to Sane Game Studios. I am Sane and I am an amateur game developer. Today I'm going to be doing a devlog on my current project. The last devlog that I did was on my previous project, which is pretty much a completed game. This is a project that I'm still in the middle of, and before I show it to you, I'm going to give you a quick idea of what it is that I want it to be. So I've taken a lot of inspiration from like Super Nintendo era Prince of Persia games, where you get to run and jump off walls and climb up ledges and stuff. But I'm gonna have a little bit of a twist on it where there is no combat system. So there is enemies, but there is no way for you to possibly fight them. And if you do come into contact with an enemy, they will just kill you. Like no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If an enemy gets you, you are dead. So with that said, the idea is to either use stealth or solving puzzles to avoid and get around the enemies rather than engage with them directly. So because I wanted to make it a bit of a stealth game, I decided to include a lighting engine. And that was actually the core idea of why I'm making this game. So when I made my last game, my goal was to learn how to make a complete game. I spent a lot of time making half-finished projects and broken, janky, garbage things that were just legitimately unplayable. And my last project, my challenge to myself was to make a game start to finish, which is one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give to early game developers, and something I talked about quite a bit in my first video of how I got started in game dev and where to start. And what I wanted to do with this project was to take what I had learned making that project and introduce something more that is going to help me out in future projects. And what I decided to work on with this one was lighting. So I came up with the idea mostly because how am I going to make a game that its core concept is the lighting system? So what I did is I came up with the concept that I was just talking about, and I'll show you right now actually what I have so far. And as you can see, I have a character and it runs, jumps off walls, slides down walls, and then also will grab onto ledges and pull himself up. So one thing that I was actually unsure of is the running system. So right now I have it here I am walking. While I'm walking, if I hold down left shift, he will run, and then if I release it, he will walk. But if I quickly press left shift, it will toggle run so I can just run. But if I'm running and I hold left shift, he will walk instead. And then I just tap it quickly to toggle it. So my idea was not to have a run or a toggle running system. A hold or a toggle running system. My idea was to combine it into a hybrid. So you can choose by how you use the button whether it is holding or toggling. But then it came into the question of what would a player think of this when they first played it? Because you always got to, when you're developing games, you always got to think of what is the player experience going to be. And I got thinking that if you were a brand new player to this game and you didn't know that it was a hybrid running system, would you think that the run button was broken? Because sometimes it toggles, sometimes it holds. When realistically, for what it is that I wanted to do, it is flawless. It works perfectly. It's actually probably one of the few things in my mechanics that does currently work perfectly. And I posed this question actually on Reddit, and I asked other game developers, I was like, what do you guys think of my running system? And a lot of them thought that it was awesome. It's very innovative, great idea. One guy even said that he'd wished he thought of it first. And then I also mentioned that I was worried that players might find it confusing. And then another guy actually said that he agrees that it could be confusing to a new player. And he actually suggested that I make it a setting in the settings. So I would say like you could choose between having your run button be a toggle or a hold or my hybrid system, but default the setting to the hybrid system. But like when I do my tutorialization at the beginning of the game, because in this game I do plan to do an in-game tutorialization, I would have to explain the running system to the player. But then also, if you're going to have a tutorialization for a function that is alterable like that, I'm going to have the tutorialization run on the variable. So like if they decide to go into the settings and change the run system before they play it, then the tutorial will teach them how to use the run system as they have set it, you know? But I do have a lot of issues with my movement system. See, like right there, actually, I got stuck in place. See if I can recreate that. But I am still working on it. This game is actively a work in progress, and I haven't even gotten to the point where I can say that my movement system is complete yet. I still have a lot of things I need to fix. Here, actually, I'll show you a very common, easy to manipulate bug that I found right there. So what happened there was I don't have head collisions. So if I jump into this, well, it's kind of doing it there. But if I come to a head collision while in the air, what it does is it initiates a side collision, which then prompts the wall mount system. But then my wall mount system doesn't allow you to be inside and mounted to a wall, because that was an early issue that I had. So when I do enter the wall mount system in a situation like this, what it does is it takes the side in which I am mounted and then shoots me over until I can actually mount a wall. And in this case, that is putting me outside of the level. So that is something I need to fix. Another thing I've done as part of my lighting system is I've included that little blue orb. And that little blue orb is a companion character that will follow you around. As you can see, it follows you but has a little bit of a trail behind it. It means that it actually moves a little bit slower than the player character. But there are times when, like, you mount a wall, catches up. You slide down a wall, it catches up. You hit the ground after falling, it catches up, right? And it's not because it catches up because I told it to catch up, but it's that it moves at a consistent speed. And as a player in control of the character, you will not always be moving at a consistent speed. So I use that as my seemingly reliable way to ensure that the light orb will always catch up. But even if you left the light orb behind, right? Like if I were to go up here, and actually one thing I've done is you can actually swap control to the light orb. So if I swap control to the light orb and I move it up top here, and then I swap control back, it will find its way back to me at all times. And to do that was actually fairly simple. All I did is if I go to my light orb object here, actually I'll throw this code up here, see it better? So what I have happening is if you are not in control, right? So like if control equals true, else. So if you are not in control of the orb and it is not currently lighting another object, it will create a temporary variable, which is a path, and it will map that path to your player, and then also it will avoid the walls, and then it will start that path. If you are not in control, it is creating a path, starting on the path, and deleting that path every single frame. So the path constantly updates itself 60 times per second, actually, to be precise. But then another thing that I did is using this, if you go down to the very bottom here, right here. So if you are not in control and you are within 100 pixels of a lighting object, then it will create a path to the lighting object. And the first thing it will do is it will create the path, will create the variable for the path, and it will turn lighting to true, which then says that it is going to light something. And then if it is going to light something, it sets the path, starts on the path, moves towards the path, and then if it has reached its destination, it will delete the path, and it will change the state of the light in which it is lighting to be lit if it is unlit, and will unlight it if it is lit. And then as soon as it is done, lighting turns to false, in which case it goes back up here and sets a path back to the player. So to watch that in action, I'll hop back in the game real quick. There. See, it lit that object. But then now that it's lit that object, if I go back, it has extinguished it. And then my plan is to use that as a way of distracting enemies, because an enemy, if it will have a sight to it. If it sees a light object, it will store in memory the fact that it's seen that light object, and it will also store in memory whether or not it was lit. And then when it goes back and it sees that light object again, if it has changed from lit to unlit, it will go and investigate because it noticed a difference. And that's going to be one of the ways in which you'll be able to manipulate enemies in this game. Right, but then also I have this blue floor here, and for the purpose of the player, it's just a floor. You can stand on it, you can roll on it as you saw. And it acts as a floor. But light doesn't cast any shadows. It's not affected by the lighting system. And I did that on purpose because if I want to have like grates or other things that aren't impacted by the lighting system, that I want the blue orb to be able to pass through but not have the player pass through, but also I would want light, because obviously it wouldn't be a solid object, it would be like a grate, right? The light would pass through it, and that would let you as a player know that if you are in control of the light orb, you can pass through that, which will create shortcuts. So like, you could go down and then you could go light a torch here, which will then get the attention of an enemy, in which case you can then swap control back to the player, and while they're going to investigate it, you get around them. So this is essentially like the concept for what I want this game to be, and this is the early prototype of just the mechanics of that game. Like I said, it is definitely a work in progress. I have a lot of bugs that I need to iron out regarding the movement system, and these are bugs that I found just running around, let alone what testers are going to come up with when I put it in the hands of my testers. But yeah, this is what I want for this game, and I think the idea of it is pretty cool, and then it also achieves the one thing that I really, really wanted to achieve, and that was learning lighting systems. And actually, while I'm on the topic of lighting systems again, I'm going to talk about the lighting system that I use. So I got this from the Game Maker Marketplace. is this one, Jobo's Lighting System 2D. I was actually, earlier today, I was looking at doing a tutorial on this. Sarah Spalding did a tutorial on it, and I will actually link that in the description below. But for some reason, I got it to work beautifully with this project. As you can see, it works exactly the way that I want it to work. But I couldn't get it to work on a new project. So if you do decide to experiment with this lighting system and you do get it to work on a new project, please let me know exactly what you did, because I tried to replicate everything that I did exactly to get it working in this project, but for some reason I wasn't able to get it working for my tutorial video in a blank project. But anyways, yeah, this is my game. This is what I'm working on currently. If you like the idea of it, please let me know in the comments below. If you like the idea, but you also have your own ideas on how I could build upon this, or what I could add to it, or any suggestions that you have, I am definitely not too proud to accept those. So if you do have comments or suggestions, you can go ahead and comment those. If you don't like this game, keep it to yourself, because it's still not a good game. I'm still working on it. So if you don't like this game when it's finished, then you can have a voice. As it sits right now, it's not even a done game, so don't go hating on it. But yeah, so with that, I'm just going to say, please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And if you would like to see more of this game as I work on it and polish it off, definitely let me know. I'd be more than willing to show it off more as I hit development milestones. Keep in mind that the development might be a little bit slow due to the fact that I have a full-time day job, and this is a game dev and this YouTube channel are just passion projects for me. I do really hope to eventually get to the point where I can be releasing games and have this be my job, but until that happens, I have to work a day job, which means that development is usually fairly slow. But I will definitely keep you guys updated on the development of this game if you so wish. I'm still not ready to start building levels. I will very, very soon be ready to do that. I just have to finish ironing out the kinks in my movement system. But yeah, so that's my devlog. I'm going to thank you very much for watching. I'm going to say again, please like and subscribe, and let me know what you think, or if you have any ideas or anything like that. So with that, I'm going to wish you guys a good one and take a sit down, and you guys have a good night and peace out.